your sins, ensuring a smooth transition to the afterlife. Okay, I'm going to stop right there because then it goes into European and folk traditions, but then it goes into Haitian Vodou and African spirituality and then Christian symbolism as the body of the Christ. So this all stemmed from Kebulon or Africa, because it wasn't just centered in Egypt, you know what I mean, or in Kemet. So anyway, that's what I want to talk about right there, because these guys will pretend like my family has always, when I've come up to them, didn't matter how fat I was, how skinny I was, how ugly I was at the time, how pretty I was, whether I was wearing makeup or non-makeup, whether I identified as a lesbian, a bi, or trans, or anything else like that. It never had anything to do with my character or anything else. It had something to do with them intrinsically, innately knowing on a soul level that I was there to basically take them out, you know? And so, that I could. So they never wanted to be really by me. But they could not, when you're dealing with people like, with creatures like that, really, it's just you're a creature when you're dealing with, because this woman told me that she had a heart attack, and then she had the audacity to complain and say, well, nobody came to the hospital, and so I said what, what I said, and she was like, oh yeah, okay, and then she got off real quick. You see what I'm saying? Like, and I was trying to think to myself, because last year was a year of, again, attempted unalivings. It was a very hard, harsh, intense, dense death entity, death spirit that was around us. Me and my family, I know that. On top of having people try and burn me out because they didn't want me on the second floor. So, and that was commissioned by the manager. And so, I mean, just all of this I'm thinking about, but this really took the cake with my aunt. So when she had to get off the phone, and I said, you know what? I said, these guys have only wanted me, my whole entire family, doesn't matter whether it was on my dad's side or on my mom's side, both of them are toxic. All of them are toxic. And they were all voracious eaters of innocence, of the light, right? So when I got started to get wise or whatever, right? So and started to understand, that's the more intimidated that they became of me, right? When I started to realize, it's like, wait a minute, you can't talk to me any kind of way. I don't know you. I'm trying to get to know you. I want to get to know you. You're my blood. I want to share with you my life, but you don't want to share your life with me. You don't want to get to know me. You don't want me to become a part of this family so that I can go to the hospital, so that I will be a one that you call, because you've built up that trust with me, right? Because I'm a good friend, I'm a good lover, and I'm a good partner. There's nothing, because I've done nothing, right? When you block somebody and you isolate somebody, you kind of stunt their growth for a time period, right? So because you're always accusing, these types of people are always accusing people, because that's what she did. It's like the first thing out of her mouth was, oh, people could have killed me, but you wouldn't let people. So if you're not letting people come and help you, or come in and love on you, or whatever, because you know what I mean? And actually, what she said, because I said, I'm grateful that because her daughters and her grandbabies ended up coming, but nobody else. And so I said, but you know what? She goes, well, I know you would have come, but it's good to have those that you feel that you care about. I said, whoa. Whoa, this lady just basically told me she doesn't give a fuck about me. So this is real. It just reminded me that this is real. I'm good enough. But my only function for a toxic family, narcissistic family, cluster B family, complete with flying monkeys and golden child, my only function for them was for them to take from me. And the vision that I was getting was that there are those of us in these karmic just to say this, these are the people who grafted themselves into our bloodline, and we in this generation, we're not the first ones. It's the hero's journey. Basically, that's what it is. We're the ones who are, it's where, we're Arthur trying to take the sword out of the stone, right? Um, in our family unit, right? So they treat us all different types of ways. So they get to us when we're really young, because it's kind of like when you saw Neo come, he goes into the Matrix and he gets reborn. Okay, he comes out of a mechanical pod, right? Pop, 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 pop. All these things that are attached to him, pop, 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 pop. Right. So, and what are they doing now? AI is able to have babies thanks to the African frog. Okay, they can produce. Um, and so when we come in, they because they have been feeding off of us for centuries. Not every time we have incarnated have we made it through. But when they realize that we're getting that at this incarnation, we're about ready to fuck them up, right? Because if they couldn't get to us as a young kid, because we had that covering because of all the other times and all the other incarnations where they killed us off real quick, right? So the thing of it is we come in, we get born, boom. They siphon us just like what they did with Jesus when they crucified Jesus, right? They were trying to crucify his Christ consciousness, right? No matter what his name is or where he was from. I mean, he was a brown man, guaranteed. They took from him. They put him through all of that trauma. Those narcissists and their flying monkeys, which were the Roman soldiers, right? They took him and they took everything that he had learned. They took everything that he had learned. He grew into himself. And what did they do? They all parted him out as resembled the robe that he was wearing, right? They took his garment and they cut it up, and as just like they when they were doing picnics back in the day, right? They take a scrotum here and a nut here, and have a C-section over there, and okay, not to be gross, trigger warning, but that's what they did. They took trinkets. That's what any sociopath will do, and they brought their kids like it was okay. Okay, so that's what they do with us. And I just got a revelation. So that's what God was saying. That's what they did with me when they put me through. Right when I went through my trials for those 3 years, right, and I rose. Okay, I mean, and because I've just made that connection the other day, and I'm like, wow, I really honestly did. Right, so God's trying to tell us something. Right, because some of us we come out here and they already sense our power. They already sense that we're blessed because all those other incarnations, these same people, these same creatures who grafted themselves into our bloodline were feeding off of us from generation to generation to generation to generation, right? It's kind of like you start a game, all right, you kind of know what you're doing. You died so many times, it's like, okay, now I got notes, now I got cheats, now you know what I mean? Let's go, right? So, but they're still there. They can't help them because they have sustained off of you, off of your spirit. Your spirit never dies. Your body is always going to change, right? And so it's not. We don't choose our parents because we wouldn't choose to go back into people that we know are going to unalive us, whether it be in spirit, whether it be in our intellect, whether it be in our body, or all three, because they end up using all three. And as I've said, cluster B personalities are sexual deviants. They hate knowledge. I just watched a earlier today. No, it's not my playlist anymore. But Earlier today, I had watched a YouTube video where it says, and I've said this before, they're making it illegal to be intelligent. For what reason? Right? The same reason that an abuser